farm, Owen. He needs to see that. There's a whole galaxy out there.
I'm asking you to leave us alone, Ben. I mean it.
Is he okay?
You don't care if he's okay. You care if he's showing.
It's my responsibility, Owen.
Well, I'm his uncle.
We talked about this. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father?
Ooh. Too far.
Anakin is dead, Ben.
Dude, everybody keeps bringing it up.
Too far.
Everybody keeps bringing it up. Anakin is dead. What is up, everybody? It's your boy. It's KonKon.
It's happened.
It's happened.
Here.
It's here.
It's
We're
me.
doing it.
Oh, yeah, I'm here, Justin. This is bigger.
Yeah. No,
me.
you know, you're back, finally.
Are we the important names today? We're not the important names today.
We're not. We're not. You know what the important? This guy right here.
Yeah.
Kenobi. I got my little Kenobi here. He's come out of hiding, actually, which is nice. Guys, Kenobi is here, obviously. If you have clicked on this episode, it is because you are here to listen to us talk about the very first episode of Kenobi. It's finally here, Justin.
It's all I ever wanted.
All I ever needed.
Yeah.
Look, we got the harmonies. We're back. We're back.
That's it. I'm
We
ready.
back. This is it.
We
This is
back.
it. We back.
Woo.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, episode 1, part 1. No name to this episode.
Yeah, that's
surprisingly. Parts, yeah. So that's obviously going to be part 1 of 6. Guys, housekeeping, of course, before we get into the episode very, very quickly. You already know. Our social media is everywhere, guys. The only place we are different besides KonKon's Cantina is on TikTok, which is KonKon's Cantina Podcast. Guys, this episode, again, don't forget you can call into the We Back Wheel. Tell us what you thought about the first and second episode of Kenobi. That is ending this Monday, and that is 407-900-5084. Remember, 3 minutes is the cutoff. If you do get cut off, do not feel like you cannot call and leave another message. And, of course, that is going to enter you into the weekly giveaway. We got some Beskar.
Oh, yeah.
Metal
Solid
Beskar,
metal,
baby.
Not some 3D printed.
Solid
lightweight.
Beskar. This is what's like in your blah, 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 blah.
I'm full Beskar.
Full Beskar. Guys, Celebration is popping off. There's a ton of news and
Too much to keep up with.
Yeah, like I don't know how. I really wanted to go to Celebration, but here we are. We're here. You know what? We're here for you. That's what we're here for.
We're here for the people.
We're here for the people.
We put the
Kenobi.
podcast first. We
and
put
Kenobi.
We put
Let's be honest.
everything first because this show is just straight fire from episode 1.
You know who puts us forward? Our patrons.
Yes,
And
they do.
this episode is, of course, sponsored by our Patreon. Guys, head over to patreon.com/KonKon's Cantina, where you can find exclusive content right now. Yes, let that FOMO set in. We have a ton of Marvel content up there right now. And thank you to Dylan, who is our number 1 King patron at the moment. You know,
I like that.
King
King
patron.
patron.
He's
He made me
Kingpin.
choke on my Bud Light Platinum.
He's Kingpin. He's KP. He's KP. King patron. Guys, one
He's
of
out
the
there buying lightsabers,
getting it all.
supporting Patreon. He's doing everything.
He's supporting everything. If for him, we'd be bankrupt.
That is true.
That is true.
Well,
It is what it is. One of the ways that you can support us, guys, of course, before we get into this episode, is leaving a like and comment on the YouTube. We're very much pushing the YouTube very hard. We have new lightsaber reviews, lots of other toy reviews coming, tons of lightsaber content on TikTok and YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. It very much helps. And, of course, leaving a review on this podcast, wherever you listen to these podcasts.
I'm wearing glasses in memoriam of Jordan Grip, the Cantina Splicer,
Yep.
who
He's
is
sick.
dying of COVID right
Yes,
now.
He is sick. It is what
Not
it is.
really dying, but
Not really dying. Well,
pour one out.
there you go.
Oh.
I did.
The carpet.
The carpet. I got it on the carpet. It'll be all right. Be all right.
It's just a La Croix.
It's just a La Croix. We're getting to the liquor. The agenda of this episode, major spoilers, of course, for Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 1, Part 1. And before we get into that episode, hey, Justin.
Hey.
We are
A Cantina podcast.
That's my line. That's my line.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
The sound, that's where we got the sound bit. Nailed it. Guys, me and Justin are drinking the same thing right now. We are both drinking Mi Campo, which is a Blanco tequila. It is on sale currently at my local grocery store for
Budget
$20.
price.
Yeah, $20. It is you can obviously mix it, but it is a smaller bottle. It's the 45 mil. I can't remember.
Not a 750.
It's not a 750. It's a smaller bottle, so $20. But It has a little bit of a sharpness on the nose.
As with anything that you and I do, you bought this strictly based off of the artwork
Yes,
and what
the
it looked
artwork,
like.
literally. And unfortunately, I did not bring the bottle with me.
It's
super
awesome.
sick bottle
it's like
work.
tattoo art. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like agave Mexican-looking tattoo art.
It's a heart with agave leaves growing out of the top of it,
yeah.
and then it has kind of like a Aztecian with a female face. Like it's super super cool. That we're suckers for any sort of
100%.
Super good on the back end. Very very earthy and agave on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gets me like in my cheeks, kind of.
Yeah, it did
you know? Yeah. But in a good way.
Do the sucking back on the
Grandpa's old
old
cough.
cough syrup.
Yeah, that's it. A can of farva beans. That thing. Yeah.
Pull over.
It's pretty good though. For a sipping tequila too, like it's super smooth.
It's a cardigan, but thanks.
7 out of 10 Mandos.
Yeah.
Oh,
$20.
You know what? Sweeping declaration. How many hidden Jedi? How many
Ooh,
Jedi are
switch it?
coming
You wanna
out of
switch it over?
hiding to drink this?
Ooh, okay.
Because it's got to be real good. So how many are risking?
Man.
How many are risking?
At the $20 price point, I think this is a lot of bang for your buck.
And ironically, the first Jedi we run into is literally at a bar. So
Yeah.
he's already gave it away instantly.
I've lost the life.
I've lost. I need the alcohol right now.
I think because not only was this $20, but you said this came with like a 6-pack of like tonics or something. Like
Really
it came
good,
with some mixers.
Yeah, Earth Green tonics also, something like that. Really good tonic water. But the flavor alone, I'm still going 7
Yeah.
out of 10 hidden Jedi are coming out of hiding to drink this.
I would say that there's at least seven Jedi that would like come out to get a little nip of this. I mean,
It's really good.
we've seen plenty of times Obi-Wan like he's partaken of the alcoholic beverage
Listen.
to fit in with his surroundings.
What are you doing, Master?
There's no better way for a Jedi that is hiding from Order 66
To get a drink.
to blend in.
Yeah.
They'd blend in with this.
That's it.
I feel like 7
How
out
many?
of 10
Se-
Jedi
7
would
we're
blend
agreeing?
in with this.
All right, it's good. Yeah. Woo! Very, very good.
We also can't drink any more beer because we've now watched this episode
Yes.
twice after work,
Yes.
recorded notes,
Yes.
gotten food,
Yes.
played with lightsabers
Yes.
for like an
We're like
exponential amount of
we're
time,
very, very full. But
and we still have a whole nother episode. to
whole
go.
nother episode. Guys, let's get into this recap right now.
New intro music, you guys.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Well, I hope it doesn't take too long.
Guys, again, spoiler warning for Kenobi. If you are unfamiliar and this is your first time at the show, this is the part of the show where we give you the entire recap, everything that you need to know, and all the things
All
in
the
between.
Sam Witwer appearances.
He was in this episode a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, come on, guys.
Step into a larger
Let's
world.
just get right into it. Deborah Chow immediately knew what we wanted to see. Never in a million years.
She learned the ropes on The Mandalorian fantastically.
Seriously, like, opening scene, before we get into the play-by-play, when I first saw the younglings.
We're talking about the recap now. Like
Yeah,
the
recap.
Previously on recap.
Yes. For the first time on Obi-Wan. Yeah. When I saw the younglings, I was like, "Oh, we're seeing
flashback.
we're seeing Jedi
Yeah.
Knight, Anakin, and Obi." But let's get into the recap.
I
It's
don't
not exactly
think-
what we saw.
I don't think that you could watch that recap even as an outsider, like a non-Star Wars fan, and not get hooked.
The actual,
I
the
think that
actual
recap, like,
oh, dude, I cried.
oh yeah,
Tears.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like the actual like to catch you up to speed. I
Yep.
think somebody who's not even like a buff on Star Wars would
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
that and be like, oh my god, like I just watched from childhood through everything. Like you're hooked
Yeah.
immediately.
It gave a very nice overview that
All the emotions.
the way that the music was done, it was very, very good. As the show starts again, younglings training at the Jedi Temple, and immediately the 501st just FBI just open up the doors, come in, shooting everybody.
I like the training helmets.
Dude, right off the rip. Because I also
Edit that
thought
out.
that Vader, we were gonna see literally Anakin as
Yes.
Vader cutting down
because
children or other Jedi.
I just reread the Revenge of the Sith novelization in prep for this because that's still fully canon. So I wanted to see like what type of things were gonna be fresh in my head, like that they didn't talk about in the movie. And that's one of the things that goes into is like a full in-depth of the holo recording of how Anakin bursts into the temple and disposes of the younglings. Yeah,
it's crazy. Back to the recap. Order 66 is in its height at the Jedi Temple. The camera, then after Order 66, spans down to the planet of Tatooine. We back.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Tatooine.
Our Dust Bowl.
Back to the Dust Bowl. The city is bustling, everybody. We got people buying stuff. Reminded me, of course, like...
The bazaar. Like
everything. Everything's there. Everything's happening. An unknown ship looms above before landing.
That shadow was like, oh, what's it going to be?
What is it? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's 3 Inquisitors about to ruin your day. 3 Inquisitors emerge from the ship. The Grand Inquisitor.
Looking fantastic. I'm sorry.
Dude, yeah.
Come on, get away from this whole let's trash from a still image of what he looks like.
Yeah. I think, so if we're going to talk about how they look very, very quickly, I will say that the Grand Inquisitor does look the weakest of the 3 as far as actual appearance because I feel like his costume is really loose.
The chest armor piece is like...
It's...
bumpy out.
Yeah. A little weird. And his jumpsuit is again, my man looks like a medium, but they gave him an extra large. I don't know why. That's my only critique. That's it.
I still think that they looked way better.
Oh, for sure.
Because everybody was
especially
ripping
Fifth Brother.
They were ripping them on still images, which is never a fair.
Never.
You can't judge on a still image because you don't know what's happening like in the motion of that shot.
Yeah.
Like they look great. Do they look exactly the same as we saw them in the prequels when we saw live action
animated series?
Well, I'm saying like in the prequels, like when they go on
the species Utapau
on Utapau, and you see one who can't move. It's like
Utapawians,
literally like craned neck, like Batman 1989 has to move his whole shoulders to turn his head.
Yeah.
Like that didn't look the same. Like this he's gonna have combat for sure.
Yeah. The Grand Inquisitor, Reva, and the 5th brother. Zoning into the local cantina. Shout-outs to Bill, dude. I cannot believe this happened to his cantina. Like, seriously. As one cantina owner to another, dude, I'm sorry. We had Vader in here a couple of days ago. Nice guy, actually. He didn't get anything to drink. But anyway, it sucks. So, sorry, Bill. We really do wish this didn't happen to you. The Grand Inquisitor starts probing the bar patrons for Jedi.
Obviously, they're in the cantina.
Obviously. Quote, "Do you know the key to hunting Jedi?
Patience.
It's patience. The Jedi cannot help what they are." End quote. Obviously threatening the innocent people of this Tatooine town, Reva is had it with the Grand Inquisitor.
She's got no patience.
No, zero. Zilch. She picks up a knife and hurls it at Bill, our cantina owner, and the knife stops instantly. My first take was the Grand Inquisitor stopped it.
No, I thought it was the bald guy in the background of the shot. I think I said that to you.
The dude sitting at the bar.
Because they showed him a couple times. I knew for sure somebody in there would be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Because what would Tatooine be without like an obnoxious amount of people going to that planet that nobody would ever go to if it was real?
Well, and the other thing too,
that's because I hate Tatooine.
But they did a good job later in the episode, which we'll get to, is we have that lady who talks about how the Empire has no power there because it's the Outer Rim already.
But still, like...
So it makes sense for people to go there.
A couple Jedi survive from Order 66, and they...
Hey, where you going?
They both find their way to Tatooine. I mean...
Where are you going?
Come on.
You want to go hit the parties of Theed, or you want to go to Tatooine?
Like, you can't... Like, it's literally where Darth Vader's from. Like, you dodos
it's
know
okay. It's okay,
who
though.
he is.
Listen, we're never getting off Tatooine. It's time for you to accept it. We have.
I'll still complain about it.
All right, well... Reva then stops the knife. A Jedi survivor reveals himself. In a quick exchange, the Jedi escapes from the cantina, and the Grand Inquisitor acknowledges Reva's obsession with Kenobi.
I know. I can't wait to dig into where her fixation with Kenobi is.
And that's something, I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem with not knowing why. Why does she know Kenobi?
I'm sure it has to be like
100%.
Yeah.
It's just it's the first episode, and I'm like,
she is
tell me now.
Fixated on him, specifically for a reason.
Yeah. The theory among the fandom is she's trying to win favor with Vader. I would love it if she was, because we know they're all former Jedi. What if she like had a crush on Kenobi?
Oh, and she was like he paid her no attention as a youngling.
Dude,
I like that.
like she might have daddy issues.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And I mean that in a very serious way, not
Yeah,
any other way. Like this might be like a real like
Obi-Wan's going about his business,
mentor
like, not
type.
paying
Yeah,
attention
exactly.
to her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think who knows. A large fish lays in the desert. A callback to the EU of Tatooine being covered in water, which was also revealed in Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
And leaning back into it, which is super cool.
I wrote down like Kenobi's working third shift at the desert stingray carcass.
literally, like.
He's like, we gotta harvest this meat.
We gotta listen. It's rotting as we speak. We need to double time.
Like, we got some spicy salmon rolls to get done.
Where was all this food? I see people eating like absolute garbage in Star Wars, and they're cutting like grade A tuna like at this place, and it can't be hygienic. Is it like petrified? Like
I know it seems super old to still be cutting it up. It's weird.
I don't know, man. They don't got many options out there.
Tatooine's a hell of a place.
Yeah, seriously. Kenobi, I wrote Kenobi is working his day job, but we know that hair from a mile away. Immediately recognizing Kenobi, carving that tuna, sushi chef Kenobi, carving this large fish. What seems to be, he is taking the meat every single shift.
Yeah, he's got a little snippet of meat he saves, wraps it
he's
up in his
stealing.
little handkerchief.
He's stealing. They need like one of those detectors when they leave. When they clock out.
1/4 portion.
Punching out this scene as Kenobi's punching out, everyone's taking their money. This reminded me of Force Awakens. We got to talk about it. The whole race scene, you just said it.
He's like, you gave me half.
With Archon Plus. Wow, I totally butchered his name, but yes, the whole quarter portion, all that stuff. I appreciated it. I thought it was cool.
I mean, this episode has
a lot of callbacks,
a lot of foreshadowing to the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker specifically later. Like, to anybody who thinks that...
Maybe we're reaching a little bit, but...
I don't think so, because I think to anybody who's saying, like, they're doing away with the sequel trilogy, no.
Oh, I think that's abundantly clear now, though.
They're leaning into it. Like,
oh, yeah, 100%. Of course. Yeah. Even one of his fellow employees, as Justin mentioned, is complaining about the wage, 1/4 portion. Kenobi headed back to town after this little exchange, not engaging his employer. He finds his EOP.
Another EU callback.
What we need to name the EOP? What are we naming it?
Dang it! I wish you would have asked me that.
Yippee.
Like with a little bit of
Appa.
Like no, because his EOP has a name.
Well, I just
in
thought
the
of it
Kenobi
now.
novel, and now I can't remember what it is.
The EOP's named BB-8.
Well, I'm sure that's not it.
That's not it.
But I do like that. That's like a weird little small thing that they kept from the Legends,
And
the Kenobi novel, which is a great read. Is everybody else is on speeders, everybody's on dewbacks, everybody is like using technology, and Obi-Wan, who we know has always had this connection with animals, like we see it in Revenge of the Sith with the Varactyl. Like he picks one that he knows he can have a good connection with.
The Varactyl's so freaking cool.
And in the Kenobi novel, where he's on Tatooine, he does the same thing with the EOP. He's got like this awesome EOP that is way more agile.
Thank goodness he didn't pick a bantha.
Yeah.
Because we saw how slow those were.
Slowest traverse ever.
Book of Boba Fett. Just walk. Okay, just walk.
Thick lips, though.
Big old bantha lips.
Big old bantha lips.
He finds his EOP and heads back home. Later, we're going to see this is the cave that we saw in the trailer. Again, a common thread in these new Lucasfilm is a lot of what we saw in this trailer.
Second episode at the most.
But they kept a lot from us. They Grogu'd us with this whole Leia thing, which we're going to get to,
Yes,
which
they did.
super, super excited about. Met by a droid outside of his little cave.
Just the sensor pops up.
Just R2 style. I wonder if he only, he took the droid's wheels off and the arms. Like, he disassembled the droid so it can't run away. Yeah, so it can only use that. He is given the blue signal, which obviously means, hey, like, you're all good.
Cleared for entry.
And this is obvious foreshadowing that we're going to see later in the episode. The most precarious Jawa I think we've ever seen in all of Star Wars, named Kika, is there to, of course, in Jawa fashion, sell Kenobi his own crap.
And I like that he came through the caves. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't set off
Yeah.
the alarm.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, He's already inside the cave.
Yeah.
Like,
He bat a grappling hooked down from the ceiling. Just I don't know how he got back there, but like you said.
And unfortunately, it's made me realize that the most realistic version of myself in the Star Wars universe is probably a Jawa.
Just reselling.
Yeah, just like buying and selling and
Picking up people's trash.
taking his
I can
own,
sell this.
taking his own evaporator parts and like, bro, if you want it clean, that's gonna be extra.
Shout outs to people who are apparently still stealing cats from catalytic converters. They're real life Jawas for real. The main point of this exchange, huge callback to A New Hope, the T-16 toy that we see Luke literally flying with in A New Hope. Did not see
that coming.
Dude, the second I saw the top of the bag, I was like, T-16, it's Luke's T-16.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, thankfully it clicked for me instantly. The Jawa, of course, trying to selling it to him for 100. Kenobi bargains. He said, I'll give you 50. Then he goes 75. I don't know what they landed on. Of course, as we mentioned, he literally rigs his evaporator and tries
takes parts and then sells the parts that
tries
he took away back to him.
Yep.
Classic.
Nightmares plague Obi-Wan Kenobi's dreams. We see the flashbacks. We see the events very similar to the actual prelude to the episode. We see events. Go ahead.
This was my first the nightmare scene, like where he's tossing and turning, was kind of the first glimpse that I started to realize or think that I'm like, ooh, I feel like they're making Obi-Wan broken.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a stray from.
I got
what
that
we've known
earlier.
From the EU.
I got that earlier, but continue.
But yeah, he's not just a Jedi that's in solitude, meditating and training. Like he's straight up broken.
Yeah.
And as we'll get into later, like that trend continues. He is not
It gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not the Obi-Wan that we left at the end of Revenge of the Sith in any fashion.
This is something that me and you have been wanting. And that's what these TV shows are lending themselves to, which is super, super exciting because yesterday, I know you didn't see the KK interview on Kathleen Kennedy on Celebration, but the Vanity Fair magazine, there's a whole excerpt of her interview, and she kind of redoes the interview at Celebration, which is she's talking about how they really are moving away from trilogies. Like they are no longer. I love it too. They are no longer telling Star Wars stories over the course of, let's be honest, 5.5 hours, maybe 6 and change, and they're adapting these TV shows. And she specifically talked about how even through COVID and the pandemic, they released 68 hours of footage of Star Wars, and that's more than we've ever seen in the movies.
A 2-hour movie is nothing compared to a single season of a show.
And that's what's exciting is, especially with Kenobi, we have this ability to see into Kenobi's head, what he's going through. People, not just Kenobi, people that are surrounding him. Reva. Imagine if this was a movie. We would have, we just had an hour-long episode, 46-minute episode, minus the credits in the opening. We wouldn't have these intimate scenes between Reva and the fifth brother or the Grand. They would just be characters in the background until they needed to swing a lightsaber. And we're getting glimpses into who they are as people already, and it's just really exciting. And Kenobi's obviously broken, and that's what I want. You would 100% be broken.
Yeah, I mean, Kenobi has also always been one canonically that is, yes, he is the perfect Jedi, but he is in touch with his emotions. There's an entire arc with Satine and Obi-Wan.
Shout out to the Clone Wars.
Who he is referred to as Ben. Surprise, that's where his name came from. He's calling himself Ben because that's what his love of his life called him.
Love that whole thing.
He is not as perfect as everybody thinks he is. And this is just lending itself, his connection, him and Anakin, they were brothers. Yeah. And him falling and what he did to him, everything, it did shatter him. It broke him. Yeah. And it's awesome to see this in between from what we see in A New Hope, where he's old and wizened, and he's obviously at that point.
I love that word, wizened.
Yeah. He's obviously has nothing. It's no problem.
When you buy a boat, name it wizened.
Old wizened.
Old wizened. No, for real. It's and we've heard even on Celebration yesterday, first day Thursday, there's an interview with Hayden and Ewan, and he talks about bridging the gap because they're specifically asked him and Hayden about watching the source material, Clone Wars, Rebels, all these things, and it was cool because Hayden specifically mentioned how much more they were able to do with the character, and Ewan said the same thing, and he specifically talked about learning how to bridge who we saw in the prequels and Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan. He has to merge the two in this show, and it makes me think of Matt. Matt being the voice actor,
Lantern,
also being Anakin. It's a lot, and that's what these shows lend us to be able to do.
Even the next scene that we really have, where he's in the desert and he runs into another Jedi.
Yeah,
it's still showing how broken he is.
Yeah,
like deny, to the point he's like, bro, you just gotta hide. Like,
yeah, bro, get out of here.
Bury your lightsaber in the
Hit the
sand.
bricks.
Get out of here. Like, the altruistic Obi-Wan that we've known up until this point forever, like, do the right thing, like, he's gone at this point. Like, he is shattered, and it's really cool. Even, like, later, some more conversations that they have, like, seeing, like, just he's like, I'm not the man that you knew before. I love it.
Back to the recap. Obi-Wan wakes from these nightmares that led into this tangent, which is fine. Good tangent, by the way. I don't usually appreciate what you have to say, but
I just finished all my tequila, so expect more tangents.
Okay, gotcha. Hang on. More tangents coming. When he awakens, he asks for Qui-Gon. And in this moment, I thought for sure we were going to have the visual representation of Qui-Gon.
I said one thing to you.
Yeah.
I bet we will get an appearance of Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
It won't be until the very last episode. One of the last things that we're going to get is he finally is able...
He kind of has to make that decision for completing the hero's journey.
And I bet that's going to be the big, almost like Grogu
light switch
surprise. No, like almost like the big, like it's the unannounced show up of a character, of a cameo.
Well, I mean, Mando's going to show up.
Like
as a kid,
like little kid Mando. He's like 12 years old.
yeah, just little Mando.
Just shoots Luke.
Yeah, directed by. Yeah, I had a question for you.
Okay.
Now that I've seen this episode, I am glad that we didn't see Qui-Gon right away, because of the foreshadowing in the leading up to. Right, the leading up to this episode, and we specifically they
can't
play
wear
the
these fake
scene.
Glasses anymore. They hurt my eyes.
They're blue blocker glasses. They're not
They're
fake.
foggy.
Oh well, you're sweaty.
Well,
Yeah,
it's Florida.
All right, so Yoda, that we specifically have the scene again where Yoda says, more training I have for you. Your former master. Obvious foreshadowing. It wouldn't have been for any reason. So here's my question: because of that, and because of the scene where Obi-Wan wakes up asking for Qui-Gon. Does this mean he is searching for him now, or has Qui-Gon already deemed it necessary to appear to him? Because remember, before you answer that, Yoda makes it very, very abundantly clear.
I have fresh knowledge that I can comment on this.
Okay. And Obi-Wan makes it abundantly clear. So Yoda and Obi-Wan. First, Obi-Wan makes it abundantly clear in Return of the Jedi that him and Yoda cannot interfere. Right? Oh, no. Empire. Sorry, Empire. If he leaves Dagobah, they cannot interfere.
Okay.
Right? No, it was Return of the Jedi. Duh. That's when Ben appears to him as a Force ghost. He said that he has to face Vader. Him and Yoda cannot interfere. They're both, Force ghosts, right?
Yeah.
Well, Yoda, he hasn't seen it. Anyway, then Yoda in Last Jedi makes it abundantly clear to Luke that same thing. Like, Force ghosts do not... they do not do things to alter what is happening in real life, and Luke also mirrors the same thing to Rey. Has Qui-Gon appeared to him now? Has he felt it necessary to help him to keep his sanity?
So, this is based off of what I literally, in preparation for this show coming out, was the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, which, if you guys haven't listened to it, or it's still canon.
Nope.
Wait, the novelization of the movie is not canon?
It's not.
What?
Yeah,
that's news to me.
Seriously.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well,
continue.
This isn't like a major change.
It can help. It can help your answer, which obviously it is.
In the end of that, towards the end of that, Yoda is talking to Obi-Wan after everything's happened. It's kind of in like the wrap up portion, but he says, "A new master I have, the same as your old master he is." Yoda is now considering himself basically a Padawan, and he is now Qui-Gon is his master, and then he is then informing Obi-Wan of that he needs to start training. I don't think that Obi-Wan at this point has learned enough to commune with Qui-Gon at all, but I think he knows because of what Yoda told him that it is a possibility that you can get to that point, but he's still in that learning, training, striving era.
There are two people after April 25th, 2014, the acquisition of Disney. Yes.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
How do you have that's
because
insane.
because there's so much that makes people, in my opinion, so strong in that novel that it makes sense for it not to be canon. I want it to be canon, but unfortunately, yeah, it's not canon. Great book. Matthew Stover. Fantastic novel, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not canon. But anyway, dude.
Well, still good research.
Yoda. We could hear Yoda's voice in this talking to Obi-Wan. And the Emperor. The Emperor is, I don't think we're going to see him in the show, but we are going to have mention like we did in Rogue One. Remember, we never saw him in Rogue One. We had mention of him. You will tell the Emperor
fuzzy
as much.
Hologram at
something.
The most.
We heard him in the very first episode. That was him execute Order 60 over and over again. I do believe that Qui-Gon has already appeared to him. I believe that.
So you think he has? Okay.
Yes, I believe that Yoda has given him the training to learn how to communicate with him.
Do you think appear, or do you think communicated? Do you think physical blue Force ghosts, or do you think that they've talked through the Force?
Both, because if you look at Clone Wars, what Qui-Gon does is Qui-Gon appears. He talks to Yoda first before he appears in the room. Because remember, Yoda goes, Qui-Gon, you are dead. You have become like who is this? This is
like
a trick.
when he talks to Ezra too. Yeah.
And then Qui-Gon literally appears in front of him, and he's like,
Yeah,
"What is
Yoda-
it? Literally. And then he's like, "Oh, wills, all this stuff, right?" I think that he's appeared to him already, and I think that he is hanging on to that thread that he can fall back on his old master, and that's kind of what's keeping him sane. But Qui-Gon hasn't felt it necessary to interject again.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I can go behind. I can definitely get behind that.
So what did you end on?
I think it's more that he has been taught or told from Yoda what his training is and what the end game is and what the goal is, and he's still, because I don't think his connection to the Force is anywhere near strong enough.
You mean because he's done that to himself? Or
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he is so focused on
Staying
disappearing
hidden.
and doing nothing that he hasn't had that yet. He just knows that it is a possibility.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Back to the recap. From our trailer, we have our Obi-Wan watching Luke scene. This scene hit so much harder in the show
Oh, yeah.
than it did in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the music starts to swirl. It's like sad music and hopeful music all at the same time. It changes pitch when it goes from Obi-Wan back to Luke on our second watch. Like, I really paid attention. And when it's on Luke, it's hopeful. It's, it's almost like the... It's almost like Leia's theme, the dun, like it goes. It's an upward motion, and then when it goes back to Obi, it goes down. And he puts his binocs down, and it's just so obvious that Obi is observing how closely Luke already is to Anakin.
Oh, yeah. He was basically piloting a pod racer.
Yeah,
Like, he had, like, the... Like, that's not a spaceship.
Or yeah,
Like, that's...
Well, anything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like he's basically little Anakin, like fantasizing about being in a pod racer is what it immediately harkened back to me.
And again, talking about Force Awakens, it's the same theme that we saw with Rey in the beginning of Force Awakens. She puts on the X-wing, the Rebel helmet, and she's
Sitting
picturing
in the
herself.
AT-AT, just
She's picturing herself somewhere else, and it's what Luke always talked about, is getting off that planet. And we're going to talk more about this when we get to Owen confronting Ben. Ben leaves the toy outside of the Lars homestead. Ben is being watched and tracked through the night. A young Jedi that we saw earlier from the Cantina. Shout-outs to Bill. Bill's Cantina, guys, visit it. He really needs customers ever since the Inquisitor
not
incident.
as good as a Cantina as when we got running, though.
Seriously. I mean, we do have better spotchka, but we got to support Bill, too. You know, it is what it is. The young Jedi approaches him. Obi-Wan assures him that he is mistaking him for somebody else. As they talk about the Jedi hunters that are hunting down all the Jedi, Obi-Wan explains to him to rid himself of the Jedi. Bury his lightsaber. Quote, "The fight is done. We lost. The time of the Jedi is over."
It's very surprising to me. Like, I would have thought, based off of his last actions, sneaking in to the Jedi temple back to Coruscant, trying to save as many Jedi as he can.
But he didn't know Anakin at that point, remember?
Well, yeah. I mean, he sees the recordings while he's in there. But
Yeah.
still, like that's the, kind of like the last,
10 years, man. 10 years, a long time.
Willing to sacrifice himself to save the other Jedi, and then he comes in contact. I mean, we don't know if it's the first time, but you kind of have to think this is probably the first time he's been face-to-face by another Jedi, recognize Master Obi-Wan, like, by name, by face, not just, like, he recognized something he did. Like, this guy knew him in the temple, 100%. He was obviously...
Dude, he was on the council.
A Padawan at the time.
Everybody would have known him.
Yeah.
And that's my theory with Reva. Like, everybody would have known Anakin. Everyone would have known Obi. Everybody knew who they were. Back to the recap. We then switch over to what might be my favorite part of this first episode.
We take a flight to Colorado.
We go straight to the Rocky Mountains.
It's just straight up Colorado.
It's Denver. That John Denver's full of, man. Right? On Alderaan, we find young Princess Leia being prepped for guest. Or are we? Or
dude, such
is
awesome,
she?
Like, this isn't foreshadowing. What is this, like, reverse shadowing of Padme? Like,
Dude.
using the handmaid to, like, fake who she is so she can go off and do what she wants?
All the royalty stuff, again, Leia at a young age already showing her spunk.
Her mother's genes run strong just like her father's.
Yep, it's awesome. Running through the woods, Tilly Platt.
Yeah.
This
Derp
actress,
running.
this actress looks just like one of our friends'
yes.
kids. The teeth, I was like, oh my, it's Tilly.
Yep.
It's literally anyway.
It was awesome.
Young Leia is running through the woods.
So bow-legged when she ran.
She runs, immediately climbs a tree just to watch ships leave the planet. Great parallel immediately between her and Luke.
Just like their love of flight and ships and piloting.
Getting away, being off planet, and like Yoda says, never where he was. Like always somewhere, being not mindful of where you are, but always being somewhere else.
Yeah.
I loved it. A man is watching young Leia from the tree line. Back in town, back on Tatooine, Lars confronts Ben, throwing the toy at his feet. Quote, "I am asking you to leave us alone."
That's how we open the episode.
That is how we opened it. Great scene. Fantastic scene. In my top 5 favorite
very
scenes.
meme-inducing scene.
Yeah,
once it
all
came
the
out.
memes, dude. This guy thought he escaped the prequel memes. Like, no, it's
Like, we back.
we back. Yeah. You don't care if he's okay. You care if he's showing. Another quote from Lars. Again, like you trained his father, inducing the meme. I love this idea of you don't care about him. You want to know if you have another Jedi to train.
Yeah. Is he force sensitive?
Yeah, is he showing? Is he showing these abilities already? And it's cool, too, because I wonder how much information has Obi-Wan given Lars? Has Obi-Wan prepped him for, this is the signs you need to look for when he's becoming force sensitive? You see what I'm saying?
I feel like the Lars homestead is fully versed. Like, they're fully aware of Anakin. They knew everything that happened.
But are they? Dude was there for like 5 minutes.
No, I think they're pretty sure.
And he killed a bunch of sand people. And then he threw stuff.
I think they know everything, man.
And then they
I think that
probably
they
heard him and Padme do it in the basement.
They're in the garage. How dare you?
Back to the recap. Seeing this side of Ben is new to explore. Again, this longing that Luke has to leave the planet and wanting more to life is obviously aided by Ben Kenobi, something that we did not see in the original trilogy. The Inquisitors are back in town. Reva again overstepping her place.
All I could think of is like Reva's like all she wants to do is like chop some dang hands.
That's it.
And Han is like, bro, I just want like a bag of chips to lean against the speeder and eat. Like,
Tell the people what you mean by Han.
if you don't know, he's Han from Tokyo Drift.
The fifth brother. Yeah, and he's always eating. He's like the Asian Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
just
like
eating
just
in
always
every
leaning
movie.
against his car. He's
Eating.
like eating some Fritos.
Yeah. Again, I'm really enjoying the fifth brother. I hope he gets more screen time.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An old lady speaks out, and as Justin alluded to, yeet, yeeted the hand. Reva cuts off the hand. She then confronts Lars. Quote, "You know something?" Reva threatens the Lars homestead, not just Lars himself, but also his wife and child.
Which had to be the direction of the Force to pick him out.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
it for sure had to be.
Yeah,
like it could have in her. She may not realize it.
He was in the middle of the crowd too.
But you can't really the Force guides you into things. The reason you in your head she randomly picked him. It has to be the Force directing that. Whether she made use of it or not, obviously she didn't.
Here's a question I have. If so many people didn't know who the Jedi were in Mandalorian, 10 years later,
we've argued this, or not argued, but like I said, this is dumb for a long time.
Yes, but there are certain points of history that are well known in different places, and they're not known in other places. So there is reason. I just find it hurts my suspension of disbelief to be like, people in black are walking around your town and they're like, "Where are the Jedi?" And then 10 years later, people are like, "What are the Jedi?" And nobody's like, remember those people in black that were cutting hands off and they were looking for people called Jedi?
Remember
those things?
That kid that was 9 years old, that was the first human to ever compete in a pod racing event and won it, and then disappeared with a whole bunch of Jedi. Dude,
I don't know, man.
Literally where you're from, guys.
Again. It's not like he became a childhood hero. He's just
literally the hero of the Republic.
He was a slave, but when he disappeared, they just thought he died. They're like, "Oh, Shmi's kid died." I don't know.
His Skywalker's name is huge.
Well, was it though? Later, not at this point. Anyway, it's just it propels this idea of how strong the Empire propaganda becomes
the propaganda
over time.
machine.
That was my point. That was a very
brainwashing, and
it was a very long way of me saying that. You have people walking around saying Jedi, and 10 years later, people are like, "What are Jedi?"
Yeah.
Anyway. So she cuts off her hand. Again, earlier I alluded to this, showing that the Empire, again, in the Outer Rim, has no power. So already people don't have respect, kind of, for the Empire. And Reva immediately corrects that.
Yeah.
And just yeets the hand.
Put some spec on my name.
Yeah.
That hand is gone.
Yes, hand is gone. Thank you. The fifth brother steps in, placing a bounty puck on the table. Yeah, be cool, bro.
Dial it back.
Demanding that the third sister step down. Back on Alderaan, the extended family of the Organas arrive. Banter between the cousins begins. "You are not a real Organa," end quote. Leia fires back as her father overhears. Bail then takes Leia aside after the interaction between the cousins.
Kind of surprising to me, because for some reason I more thought that Leia might not have known she was
adopted.
Leia, we know that Leia knew she was, because she says, "I barely can remember my mother."
No, she says she remembers her mother.
Right, but not she doesn't have a relationship with her.
Her real mother.
Right.
Yeah, Luke says your real mother.
We knew that she did.
Yeah.
But for some reason in my head, I thought that it wasn't public knowledge that she wasn't a birthed Organa.
I don't think it is public knowledge.
Remember, it's just a family.
These are other Organas. Yeah, because he says, I hear
she's
you're not
openly
allowed.
making fun of it. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that people would know that.
Well, even in the bloodline, people then later find out that she's not a real Organa, and she is a Skywalker, and her,
that's way later, but yeah,
it is way later, but still, it's obvious that the family knows.
In the hiding phase of I just was surprised.
Well, there has to be an explanation too. They're royalty on this planet. You can't have the queen
never be pregnant.
So we know she's adopted. But maybe other planets and in the Senate, they don't understand that she is,
Yeah. No, that is. That is true. It was kind of like I never thought about this type of a moment.
We've never seen this stuff with Leia and stuff.
10-year-old Leia.
Yeah. Really, 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 really cool stuff, especially on Alderaan. Can I vacation there? Give me a room up wherever she had that penthouse level. Seriously, it was awesome.
It's in Breckenridge.
That's right. Leia fires back as her father overhears. Bail then talks to Leia about her future. Already at 10 years old, she is somehow understanding that her lot in life is to be a senator. She makes it very clear that she does not want to be a senator. Again, after doing this play of being sorry and being apologetic, she runs off again, just immediately gone. Vec, somewhat of a bounty hunter pirate. We don't really know
I want
yet.
to know what this guy is.
Want to know what this guy is?
We know he's hired by. I almost said
Reva.
Freya. I said Freya.
Freya. It's Freya now.
Same difference.
Yeah, that's what it is. Is waiting for her in the woods. Leia is captured.
I feel like she used, for sure, some natural force abilities in her escape.
How did you feel about the chase scene?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, so when she did that, like, slide...
The slide was cool.
Under
For
the tree
a little
branch,
kid, the
like,
slide
to me,
was cool.
that was, like, equivalent of Anakin piloting the pod racer, like, with unnatural, instincts. Like,
it was like Legends of the Hidden Temple stuff, you know?
Yeah.
She just, you know?
Like, I was, like, to me, like, that was her, like, having, like, too good of reflexes or agility than a 9-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid should have had. Like, I like that, like... I don't know. I mean, that I could be, like, just feeding into my own thoughts, but, like, headcanon. But that kind of, like, seems like more than a little kid. Like, I have a 9-year-old daughter. My daughter could not do that.
I think
my daughter would be, like, crying about fire ant bites while she slid on the ground. Like, there was no agileness that would be happening with my daughter.
I think that people are, unfortunately, going to rip this scene apart.
You think?
I 100% think so. But I don't think people are going to understand that. I think they did very, very well with what they could do. Obviously, this is a 10-year-old kid who cannot run fast.
Yeah.
So let's have some fun. Let's induce a little suspense. We had the guard that gets killed. I do think that people are going to tear the scene apart, and I just think that find something better to do, guys, because the scene was not
I hope
that
that's
bad.
not the case.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it. And the actor, the little Leia actress,
Yeah, she's been awesome
dude,
so far.
super good.
I want that droid, Lola.
Oh, the droid is
dude.
It reminds me of Phoebo from
Yeah,
Flubber.
yes.
Like, and it has the little flaps that open up. Is totally Phoebo. I'm digging it. Ben's comlink rings. The Organas beg for Obi-Wan's help in recapturing Leia.
Very reminiscent of R2's message from Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Just live this time.
Yeah, but it reminded
wasn't
me like
pre-recorded.
it's like you fought alongside of them.
Yeah.
Like very reminiscent of it.
Quote, "Find someone else. She is better off," says Obi-Wan Kenobi. My dude is literally like, she'll be good, bro.
Mm-hmm. Cannot leave the boy.
Can't leave the boy. Can't leave Tatooine. The next day, our young Jedi is found killed and hung, what seems to be in the town square. Ben, returning to his home after seeing the young Jedi, is warned with a red lens.
Not even phased.
Nah, he was phased, man. That scene was very, very long.
You think that was like a...
And I thought they made an interesting choice, too.
He could have saved him. He could have, like, guided him in some way and just did nothing.
Well,
Guilt.
I think that I don't think Ben felt guilt because Ben made it very clear to him, leave town, and he didn't. And then he's dead the next day, you know? So, or next couple of days, whatever it is. And I think that they made an interesting choice with how they strung him up. I think that actually hanging him would have harbored a harsher rating.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's not Disney.
Yeah.
We're
I just
not
thought that
gonna
was
lynch
interesting.
Somebody, yeah.
And I also was expecting maybe
a lightsaber,
hole or a slash,
a char,
something,
like clothes,
something.
charred, something.
Yeah, because I thought the intro 501st sequence was pretty violent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we even see the Jedi get lit up with blaster holes. You know,
shot right in the gut.
Yeah. I thought he was cool. I thought it was cool. He still had his lightsaber. I love seeing you said when we were watching, you were like, "Where's Quinlan?" Like, hopefully, but Quinlan should be dead at this point. I have to check my timeline again.
So I was like, oh, let's bring him.
And it would be. I would love to have some sort of, you know, some sort of a spinoff from this of other people. You know, we have Cal, and you know,
we know Kanan's alive. We know Cal Kestis is alive.
Dude, I'm calling it right now. When we visit the Inquisitor Sanctotorium, I think that we are gonna see some sort of a hologram of Cal's face, just like we did with the pup.
Because we have what's her name hunting him, the second sister.
Yeah,
I like it.
Because she's not. I don't think she's gonna be in the show.
I can't imagine they'd have second sister in this.
Because
I mean, it'd be cool if they did.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I think that we're gonna have a mention of Cal. That's what I feel. It would be great.
That'd be great. Like almost like the way like we get like the Death Star just talked about as a file.
Yeah.
If we get Cal Kestis just talked about as somebody they're hunting.
Yeah. Something of that extent. Because they have the list.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't have the list yet.
What
the list of
that Cal?
Yeah. They don't have it yet. So that's my bad. Ben returning to his homestead, is met by his droid with a red warning this time, a red lens, meaning somebody is there in his house, his homestead, his cave.
He's a worthless security guard. The guy just walked in.
Bail meets Obi-Wan again. We were hoping for kind of someone else.
Because he's cloaked with the hood up.
Yeah,
so
we were like, who is this? Yeah. And it's just like, oh, hey, what's up? I just talked to you.
I've been
hung
waiting
up on
for
me.
you.
Yeah. Of course, he is begging him again to save Leia. Quote, there is no one I trust more with my child than you. Please, old friend, one last fight, end quote.
I'm not the man you remember me as. Or what did he say? I'm not the man I once was before.
This
or something
perpetuating,
like
broken Ben. He is not. He is Ben.
He's
Ben.
He's
not
Obi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know, A New Hope. That is not a name I've heard in a long time. You know, all that stuff. Ben wanders to the desert. Why? To dig up not only his, but also Anakin's lightsaber.
Amazing foreshadowing for.
Is this my theory?
Huh?
Is this my theory?
No, no. I'm saying like this is amazing foreshadowing of
Rey.
Rey burying the exact same lightsaber back into the desert.
Yeah,
like
that lightsaber's seen a lot of sand.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I just think that's cool. Like Obi-Wan buried it, dug it back up, and it ends with Rey reburying it. Yeah. Back into the Lars homestead, right where all of this is happening right now.
I'm really hoping that we get Obi-Wan dual wielding these sabers
so cool.
at some point, like fighting two Inquisitors at once, like with both lightsabers.
That'd be so cool.
It'd be sick. Wrapping up the episode, Vect is sending a transmission to Reva. We, of course, as we probably put together, but have now confirmed Leia is the bait for Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan then boards a transport, ending the episode with a saber attached to his belt.
Yeah, really, like, not very, like, concealed carry
of him. He didn't seem excited about it at all.
He's like, I'll whip this sucker out as I flip my cloak. Like, number one rule of concealed carry, you don't let it show.
Don't let him see it.
God, never brandish your weapon unless you
intend to use it. Tend to use it.
God, Obi-Wan.
Dude, what an episode. Final thoughts. Of course, guys, don't forget, immediately available after you are listening to this is going to be episode 132 covering episode 2, and then
which
Monday,
we have not seen yet.
We
recorded this one, watched it twice. We have not seen episode 2. We're going to go watch that now, probably at least 2 times, and then record that episode.
And don't forget to call the hotline, guys. It enters you into 2 giveaways that we are doing weekly and at the end of Kenobi. 407-900-5084. That is the Cantina Hotline. 3-minute cutoff. Leave us your hot takes. We will play them on our next episode, which is episode 133, which will be airing on Tuesday, the day before episode 3 of Kenobi.
Not our next episode, but our
episode 133. Next is episode 2 of Kenobi, which is episode 132. Final thoughts. I'm very, very excited for this show.
It started off.
Alderaan was amazing. Alderaan was the highlight for me. I loved young Leia, all that stuff.
This started off so much better than Book of Boba Fett episode 1.
Yeah.
For me, at least. And I'm a massive Boba Fett fan. Yeah. This started off so much better. Like, it was great storytelling.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to actually follow the characters, and there's going to be character development with what we're actually watching.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, a whole bunch of flashbacks that don't have anything to do with it. Please don't prove me wrong in about
Tika for president.
a few minutes.
Tika for president.
If we come back and we sit down to record and we're like, well, this episode was all flashbacks. Oh no, I cursed us.
It's cursed us. Guys, don't forget, of course, this was episode 131, covering episode 1, part 1 of Kenobi. Next is episode 132, episode 2, part 2 of Kenobi. Catch us over there. I was your boy, it's KonKon, and of course,
Justin Baker.
We'll
be back.
Guys next.